Chia seeds are everywhere, not popular, everywhere. Walk into any health store and it's stacked like a cure. Open social media and someone is shaking chia water like a daily ritual. The promise is loud, nonstop, and aggressive. Want to lose weight? Want to erase belly fat? Just take chia. Yes, chia has real benefits, fiber, omega-3s. It swells in your stomach and can kill hunger fast. But here's the brutal truth the wellness crowd avoids. Millions do it perfectly for weeks, even months. And the belly doesn't move. The scale barely budges. The tape measure doesn't lie. You did the routine. You followed the rules. And nothing. Because stubborn belly fat, especially dangerous visceral fat, doesn't surrender to one superfood. It's a locked vault. Multiple locks. Chia might touch one lock. Appetite. But if your blood sugar's unstable, your hormones are shifting, or your metabolism is crawling, one lock is not enough. That's why you feel stuck. Stay to the end. I'll reveal a two-seed strategy and a precise daily protocol to follow for 4 to 6 weeks. Simple, measurable, and built for real bodies. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the plan. Now comment your country, city, and finish this fast. My belly fat won't leave because where do we come? 1. Flax seeds. Now we move to the first seed, and this one is serious. Flax seeds. You've heard of them, of course you have. They've been around for thousands of years and most health-conscious people already know they're loaded with omega-3s. But here's the problem. Most people still use flax the wrong way, so they never see real, measurable fat loss. The real turning point hit in 2017. Researchers didn't publish a cute little pilot study with 30 people and big claims. They published a major meta-analysis reviewing 45 randomized controlled trials. That's not hype. That's decades of data. Thousands of participants, different countries, different ages, different health conditions. And they asked one brutally direct question: does flaxseed actually reduce body weight and body fat? The answer was clear. After analyzing all 45 trials with standardized statistics, the researchers found flaxseed supplementation caused statistically significant weight reduction. Not luck, not placebo, not water weight illusion, and it didn't stop at the scale. Participants also showed meaningful drops in BMI, which matters because BMI changes suggest real shifts in fat tissue, not just temporary fluctuations. But the biggest win, especially if your belly is the problem, was the waistline. Across the studies, waist circumference decreased, and that's a critical marker because a growing waist often tracks with higher risk related to visceral fat, the deep metabolically dangerous fat linked to inflammation, insulin resistance, and cardiometabolic risk. In that analysis, flaxseed reduced waist circumference by an average of 0.8 centimeters. So the question becomes urgent. How does one tiny seed pull that off across so many studies? The answer is in its unique mix of nutrients and bioactive compounds working together. Like a coordinated strike, not a single weak punch. First, flax hits harder because it carries a heavier load of soluble fiber than most seeds, including chia. And soluble fiber does not just sit there. It drinks up water as it moves through your gut, turns into a thick, viscous gel, and slams the brakes on digestion. The result is immediate and practical. You stay full longer, cravings quiet down, and your calorie intake drops naturally without you fighting hunger all day. But there's a second layer most people never think about. The gel changes the speed of sugar entering your bloodstream. Slower digestion means a slower glucose rise. Slower glucose rise means a smaller insulin spike. And insulin, when it stays high too often, is one of the biggest reasons belly fat becomes sticky. Your body doesn't like burning fat in a high insulin environment. It prefers storing. So when flax helps smooth those spikes, it quietly nudges your metabolism away from storage mode. Second, flax is packed with omega-3s, especially ALA. These fats do not just sound healthy. They help push down systemic inflammation at the cellular level. And chronic inflammation is one of the sneakiest reasons belly fat becomes stubborn, because it keeps your metabolism stuck in storage mode, not burn mode. Inflammation also interferes with leptin, the hormone that's supposed to tell you you're full, stop eating. When leptin signaling gets fuzzy, hunger doesn't feel like hunger. It feels like cravings, restlessness, and that constant pull towards snacking. Now here is the real differentiator. What makes flax more than just another seed? Flax contains unique plant compounds called lignans. Lignans are phytoestrogens that can influence metabolism and hormone balance. Think of them like gentle hormone modulators, not hormone replacements, not magic, but signals that can influence how your body handles fat and inflammation over time. And for women, this matters even more. Lignans support estrogen metabolism, which can help when hormones become dysregulated, especially during perimenopause and menopause, when belly fat often appears out of nowhere and refuses to leave. That is a root issue dieting alone cannot always fix. After 50, it's not just calories, it's chemistry. It's the nervous system, it's sleep, it's insulin sensitivity, it's inflammation. Flax doesn't force your body to lose fat. It helps your body return to the conditions where fat loss is actually allowed. Multiple studies also link regular flax intake with better cholesterol profiles, including lower LDL and lower inflammatory markers, and some research suggests benefits for hormonal issues such as PCOS. That matters because belly fat is rarely an isolated problem. It often comes with a cluster of issues: higher triglycerides, higher fasting glucose, louder cravings at night, lighter sleep, and a body that feels more inflamed than it used to. When you improve the internal environment, the waistline is often one of the first places that begins to soften. Now listen, this next part is critical, and most people get it wrong. If you are buying whole flax seeds and sprinkling them on food, you are likely wasting time and money. Whole seeds often pass through your system without fully breaking down, meaning you do not unlock the key compounds. You need ground flax for real benefit. And dosage matters. Research commonly uses about 30 grams of ground flax per day, roughly 2 tablespoons, as the effective daily amount linked to measurable results. But don't rush into the full dose on day one like it's a challenge. Your gut is an ecosystem. If you suddenly dump a large amount of fiber into a gut that's not used to it, you can get bloating, cramps, or gas. Then you quit and you blame the flax. The smarter way is to ramp up. Start with 1 tablespoon a day for 3 or 5 days, then move to 2 tablespoons as your digestion adapts. Water matters here too, because flax fiber needs fluid to do its job properly. Without enough water, it can slow things down too much. This isn't about suffering through a detox. It's about building a steady ritual your body can actually tolerate and repeat. Here's how to make flax work in real life without turning it into a complicated project. Grind it yourself in a coffee grinder or buy it pre-ground. Store it correctly because ground flax can go rancid faster once the healthy fats are exposed to air. So keep it in an airtight container in the fridge or freezer. Then pair it with a real meal. Flax works best when it's part of a stable blood sugar routine. Protein plus fiber plus healthy fat. If you mix flax into a sugary yogurt or throw it into a sweet smoothie loaded with juice, you're fighting the very mechanisms you're trying to activate. You can stir flax into Greek yogurt, oatmeal, soup, or a smoothie after blending, so the texture stays thick and satisfying. You can even mix it with water and a squeeze of lemon if you like simple rituals. The key is not perfection. The key is consistency. Flax is not a dramatic fat burner. It's a metabolic stabilizer. It helps hunger quiet down, blood sugar smooth out, inflammation cool off, and hormones feel less chaotic. And when those pieces come together, your body stops defending belly fat like it's emergency storage. Track the right metric too. Most people stare at the scale and panic. But flax's strongest signal in the research wasn't just weight, it was waist. Measure your waist at the navel once a week, same time of day, same posture, same tape. Give it a few weeks. Belly fat, especially visceral fat, doesn't leave in fireworks. It leaves like a quiet eviction notice, slowly. Then one day your genes tell you the truth before the mirror does. One gentle safety note: if you're on blood thinners, have hormone-sensitive conditions, or struggle with severe digestive issues, talk with your clinician before doing higher daily doses of flax. No heroics. This is a long game, and the goal is to support your body, not to punish it. And now that you know the truth, ground flax, the right dose, the right timing, we can move to the next seed because flax lays the foundation. But the second seed is what turns this from a good habit into a waistline strategy. 2. Fenugreek. The second seed is fenugreek. This is not a new trend, not a viral hack, not something invented in a wellness reel last week. Fenugreek has been used for thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine, the traditional healing system from ancient India. Ancient healers did not keep it around for entertainment. They kept it because it consistently showed up where it mattered: metabolism, blood sugar regulation, and hormone balance, long before anyone had lab panels to explain what was happening. Now modern research is catching up. Systematic reviews and meta-analyses suggest fenugreek can improve glycemic control and support insulin sensitivity in people who struggle with blood sugar regulation. And this matters because insulin is not just a blood sugar hormone. It is a storage signal. When insulin stays high, your body gets one message: store, store more. Store it in the easiest place, often the midsection. When insulin sensitivity improves, your body can use glucose as immediate energy instead of pushing it into fat storage around your waist. Research also suggests fenugreek may help lower post-meal blood sugar, which can soften the spikes that trigger abdominal storage in the first place. If you have ever felt this pattern, you will recognize it instantly. You wake up motivated. You eat pretty well. Then one meal, one snack, one sweet drink, one carb-heavy dinner, and suddenly your appetite turns into a runaway train. You are not weak. That is physiology. Blood sugar rises quickly, insulin rises to handle it, then blood sugar drops. Your brain interprets that drop as urgency, and it screams for more energy, usually fast energy, usually sugar or refined carbs. This is where people say, "I have no willpower." But the truth is, your body is running a chemical script. Fenugreek is interesting because it can help rewrite parts of that script for the right person. Fenugreek has another advantage that people underestimate: appetite. In clinical studies, fenugreek preparations have been associated with reduced subjective appetite or shifts in macronutrient intake in some settings. That means you may naturally eat less without forcing it, without constant mental battles, without living in fear of your next craving. This is huge for anyone dealing with metabolic dysfunction because metabolic dysfunction is not only about calories. It is about signals. It is about hunger that feels louder than your logic. It is about cravings that hit like a wave and wipe out your plan. Fenugreek can help quiet some of that noise, not by hypnotizing you, but by slowing the rush that triggers it. And for women with PCOS, where insulin resistance is common and weight loss can feel brutally unfair, fenugreek has shown promising signals in controlled research, largely because it targets the exact lever that often drives the struggle: insulin dynamics. Again, not a miracle, not instant, but promising enough that it deserves serious attention for the right person, especially if your belly fat problem is actually a blood sugar problem wearing a disguise. The key compound here is galactomannan, a soluble fiber that makes up a large portion of fenugreek's mucilage polysaccharides, often cited around 25 to 45% depending on the preparation. When it hits your stomach, it absorbs water fast, swells, and forms a thick gel that slows digestion. Slower digestion means slower glucose rise. Slower glucose rise means a calmer insulin response. And a calmer insulin response means fewer signals pushing your body toward storage. It also means longer satiety, which is how this seed quietly helps you stop overeating without feeling punished. Now here is the part that makes this practical. Fenugreek is not something you take once and then judge in 24 hours. This is a signal seed. It works by nudging your meal response, your appetite curve, your evening cravings, your next morning hunger. So you should track the right things. Yes, track weight if you want, but weight lies easily. Track waist circumference weekly. Track cravings in the evening on a 1 to 10 scale. Track how many times you think about food after dinner. Track whether you wake up feeling less puffy and more steady. These are the live signs that your metabolic signals are calming down. Now, I will be honest. Fenugreek does not taste pleasant. Many people describe it as bitter, even metallic at first. That is exactly why it never went mainstream. But the benefits for the right person can be worth pushing through a short adjustment period. If you can get past the taste, you unlock something that influencers cannot sell easily: consistency. This is where the strategy becomes powerful. When you combine ground flaxseed with fenugreek and time them correctly, you stop playing defense and start hitting belly fat from multiple angles at once. Hunger gets quieter because fullness lasts longer. Inflammation is supported in the right direction, which removes one of the biggest brakes on fat loss. Fat metabolism gets support through flax lignans. Sugar cravings lose their grip because blood sugar swings become less violent. And insulin spikes that trigger storage get blunted, which means your hormones stop pushing your body toward accumulation. But I want you to hear this clearly. The magic is not mystical. It is mechanical. It is repetition. It is the same small choices applied at the same times, so your body begins to expect stability. Most people live in metabolic chaos. Random breakfasts, late lunches, big dinners, late snacks, sugar spikes, crashes, cravings, shame, repeat. This protocol is a way to create rhythm. And when your body has rhythm, it stops panicking. When it stops panicking, it stops storing as aggressively. Now listen closely because the protocol matters. For flaxseed, take 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed the moment you wake up. Blend it into a smoothie, stir it into water, mix it into oatmeal, or add it to breakfast. Morning flax is the signal. It tells your body, from the first hour of the day, you are not living in storage mode. You are starting with fiber and stability, not with chaos. For fenugreek, use 1 teaspoon in the evening before dinner. And here is the step most people skip. Soak the seeds in water for 10 to 12 hours before you take them. This softens them, makes them easier to chew and digest, and may help you access more of what you want from the seed. The traditional method is simple. Chew the soaked seeds well, then take a sip of the soaking water 20 to 30 minutes before dinner. That timing matters because the galactomannan starts working before the meal arrives. Why before dinner specifically? Because dinner is where many people lose the battle. Dinner is when stress is highest, willpower is lowest, and portion sizes quietly expand. Dinner is also when the consequences are amplified because what happens after dinner flows into the night. If your post-meal blood sugar spikes hard, insulin rises hard, and your body spends the first half of sleep in storage mode, not repair mode. A steadier evening response can mean a calmer night, and a calmer night changes the next day. You wake up less ravenous, you make better choices without forcing them. That is how the loop breaks. Now, if the taste is unbearable after a few days, use a quality supplement instead. Look for 500 to 1,000 milliliters per serving from a reputable brand. Do not treat more as better. With herbs and fibers, more often just means more stomach upset. Start low, observe, and build only if you tolerate it. Fenugreek can cause gas, bloating, or diarrhea in some people, especially if you jump too fast. Also, do not ignore the practical obstacles, because this is where people quit. If fenugreek makes you nauseated, reduce the amount and increase water. If you have reflux, do not take it too close to lying down. If you have a sensitive stomach, take it earlier, closer to 45 minutes before dinner, or use a standardized supplement with food. If you are already on a high-fiber diet, your gut may need a week to adapt. Give it that week. Your digestion is not a machine, it is an ecosystem. Now a safety note, because real health content respects reality. If you take diabetes medication, fenugreek may lower blood sugar further, so talk with a clinician and monitor glucose carefully. If you are pregnant, avoid medicinal doses of fenugreek, since safety concerns have been raised and some references advise avoiding use in pregnancy. If you use blood thinners like warfarin, fenugreek may increase bleeding risk, so you need professional guidance. And if you have significant digestive disease, allergies, or you are managing multiple medications, do not treat this like a harmless spice experiment. Treat it like a real intervention and get medical advice. Chia seeds are not bad. They can boost fiber, increase fullness, and support healthier eating habits. But if you have been using chia consistently and your belly still will not move, the problem is not your effort. For many people, stubborn belly fat, especially visceral fat, needs more than one pathway. That is why today you learned a stronger, more complete two-seed approach. Ground flaxseed to support longer satiety, lower inflammation, and help fat metabolism, and fenugreek to support blood sugar and insulin control, especially in the evening when your body tends to shift into storage mode. Do not guess, test it. Try the routine for 4 to 6 weeks like a real experiment. Measure your waist before you start, then once per week. Track what matters in real life: hunger, sugar cravings, energy after meals, and how calm your body feels at night. If this video helped you, please tap like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health Guard so you do not miss what is next. Next video, I will share a simple 7-day rotation plan, the best timing to reduce nighttime bathroom trips, and the 5 common mistakes that keep visceral fat stuck even when you eat healthy.